It's good to have a catch-up. We're sitting on the end of a 4-game unbeaten run, which a couple of weeks ago was probably something you wouldn't have thought. So, what are your thoughts on what's happened over the last couple of weeks, the upturn?
Yeah, I think clearly the results have been very encouraging. Beating Bury, who at the time were at the top of the form league, going to Portsmouth in front of 17,000, getting a good draw, going to Oxford in the playoffs positions and getting a deserved draw. And then beating a team like Torquay who were clearly fighting for their lives at the moment. So you can argue that the first half against Torquay wasn't the best, and clearly it wasn't. But I thought second half we played very well and we deservedly won the game. And for me now, we are in a different scenario to the scenario that we were talking about in sort of February time, when we hadn't won for ages and it's all doom and gloom. So we're now 5 points off the playoffs, and I seem to recall we were 5 points off the playoffs at the end of our run in December, and we were generally then talking about being able to kick on in January, February and get into those playoff spots. So we've now drifted out of the playoffs. We think we might have gone sort of 9, 10, 11 points out, and now we've come back in and we're 5 points away. So realistically, we've got as good a chance as York City or Plymouth or any of those teams around us to catch up the likes of Southend and Oxford. I mean, Oxford are clearly struggling at the moment. Southend haven't won for ages. So those two teams have made the playoff positions much more attainable. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. The top 7 were well away, but clearly I think the top 5 are probably well away. But everything else is to play for, and there's absolutely no reason why we can't really push on now on the back of some good results. We've got some winnable games coming up. I know every game is tough, we know that, but I think if the fans can start to rally around now and get behind the players and turn up to some greater numbers, we've got a chance. So I think everyone's feeling far more positive than we were a month ago, and quite rightly so. Because there's lots of good stuff going on. The Myra sponsorship was obviously fantastic news for us. The Junior Robins is now up to nearly 900 members. So I think there's some fantastic stuff going on, and I think there is a danger that actually we talk ourselves down. And actually, I think there's a lot to be positive about.
It was interesting against Torquay because again it wasn't a brilliant first half. The supporters were very quiet, but in the second half, actually, when a bit of noise started to get produced and there was a couple of substitutions made and we started playing very well. And do you think that goes hand in hand, that the more singing and shouting and chanting that goes on out there, the more the players respond to it?
Yeah, no, I think there's no question about that. And I suppose we have had a fairly quiet ground here for a lot of the season, and I understand that too. It's this chicken and egg, isn't it? It's, do you need the players to get the crowd going, or do you need the crowd to get the players going? It's obviously a bit of both. But I think fans do need something to latch onto, whether it's an appalling refereeing decision or some injustice going against your club that gets you going, or whether it's the goal, whatever. Sometimes you just need something, and I think certainly my experience at Wharton Road is often it needs to come from something that happens on the pitch. But yeah, once they do get going, we can make some good noise here. It can be quite a good atmosphere. I thought the Torquay fans supported their team really well, and in fact, when we go away, our fans are great. We just need to sort of generate more noise when we're here, and that's something, from the following of the fans forum, James, we talked about that, didn't we? Trying to make a better atmosphere, a better match day build up, and that's something that we'll talk about the focus groups in a minute. But I do really want to understand a bit more what we can do as a club to make the atmosphere here better. One thing I do believe is that we must engage better with our fans, with our clients, both at board level, but I also think players need to engage and embrace the fans more. And I did speak to Mark about that, and we are now seeing, and I did see on Saturday and on Oxford, where our players now are going much closer up to our fans to thank them for their support, rather than just standing there at the halfway line and waving. That's all well and good, but so much nicer to actually engage with the fans, and I want to see more of that happening at Wharton Road, perhaps after they've warmed up at the start of the match, actually thanking the fans, because the fans do want to support the players, they do want us to play well, they do want us to win. And if they can have that encouragement coming from the players, I think it all helps. So I want us to be more engaging, which is how we always used to be. I think we've lost a bit of our engagement, perhaps at many levels, and I think we need to get all that back.